Another minute, Simon.
Just give it a minute to start streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So it should be streaming now. If let me just check. Yeah, it looks like it's streaming to me. So not a massive amount to go over today because we actually want to ask for the community's help. And now that the drop of the apartments is out of the way and the first competition is out of the way, we were really pleased to get more than 50 retweets on the tweet where I said, if we get 50 retweets, we'll launch another competition. So Andy and I were chatting earlier, and we've got a few ideas ourselves, but we would like to hear what the community thinks as to what the next competition should be. So if you head over to our Twitter now, I've just pinned the latest tweet that's gone out just before 5 p.m, so about 5 minutes ago. And we would like people to comment what you think the next competition should be to win Joke Apartments and Penthouses. So we're going to give away another 5 in the next competition. Those of you that did win in the initial competition, don't forget to open a ticket. You do need to prove to me that you own the wallet that purchased the Joke tokens that was the winning wallet. So you will need to send me 1 Joke token to prove that you own that wallet. So what we'll need to do is those people need to open tickets as soon as possible to claim those apartments. If you weren't on the last AMA and you are lucky enough to be one of those winners, please just do open a ticket and say, hey, I'm a winner, what do I need to do? Or something to that effect. And we will let you know exactly how you get your apartment codes that you've already won. We do want people, please, to help us out, work out what the next competition is going to be. So if you've got an idea for what you would, as a community, think that would be great for us, and I don't want to put too many ideas in your head, but we want the activity within this Discord to increase. The community is the most important thing to us, the growth of that community and the ongoing support of the members of the community. So personally, I'd like to see more members in Discord, and I'd like to see more active members in Discord. That's going to be really important to us as a whole going forwards. So if there's anything that you can think of that's going to drive more people into the Discord, that would probably be my most exciting, way to run the next competition. We've obviously tried the last one, getting people buying Joke token and batches of Joke token. That was great. Loads of people took part. Some people went crazy and bought tons of Joke and sold it off, as was their right at the time. So they qualified they did qualify for entries. Every 50,000 tokens that was purchased got an entry into the competition, and hopefully people watched, as long as they didn't get too bored, watched me draw those out live. So we are going to give 1 apartment or penthouse away to the person who gives the best idea for the competition. That competition is going to run next week. We didn't want to rush into running another one this week. And Andy and I were chatting, and we just thought we'd ask you guys as the community to comment on that tweet, what you think we should do as a competition, what you think would be a great idea. If you retweet that as well, it will get you an additional entry into the competition. So this week we're just going to give away the 1 apartment, but it's just to get people entering into giving us ideas. And that's, look, we don't want to sit here as the leaders of the project and do everything and just come up with everything. Going forwards, it is you guys we want the ideas from. So please get involved, put something on that tweet, and it always helps us if you're getting involved with the social media as well. So
I think also you might have seen stuff in other Discord channels or the Twitter feeds, what other people have done, maybe in crypto or not to do with crypto, that you think, that was funny or that was interesting. So yeah, it's always good to get other ideas. So yeah, just please pop them in, and let's see what comes out, and you've got a chance to win an apartment. I just want to add as well, there's not a huge amount to go through today. We have had the Queen's Jubilee in the UK 4 days. A lot of people weren't that bothered about it, but they've got an extra day's holiday, so it has been an elongated bank holiday in the UK, which has had an effect on, even as we were working still on some of the time, but just getting responses from people and things. Pretty much the UK closed down, so not a great deal has happened in that time. So it's just one of those things.
Other than we've been working on the NFT marketplace, which that's the next big piece of the puzzle that we're planning on putting in place. I know we've talked about it for a long time, the NFT marketplace, but it's now coming to the point which we can deploy it, and we didn't want to deploy it at the same time as the apartment drop in the Infiniverse, because it's you just can't do all of these things at once, and if you start doing that sort of thing, people get confused as to what's going on. So the next big piece will be that NFT marketplace coming. Little update on KuCoin. I'm still talking to them. I'm getting hundreds of messages from different people from all over. When is KuCoin? What date is KuCoin? I can't give you a date because I haven't got a date myself. And just so you know, one of the conditions of getting listed is that you do not disclose as a project a listing day prior to going listed anyway. So even if I knew a date, which I don't currently, being completely honest, that's there's no secret to that because I don't know a date at the moment. At the point at which I do know a date, because there will be a point at which Andy and I know a date, we're not allowed to disclose it because obviously that leads into market manipulation and things like that, and that causes loads of problems. So it is part of what all of the big exchanges do, is make you sign to say that you will absolutely not tell people when a listing is going to happen. And as far as I know, and this is not gospel, but as far as I know, even when they give you a date, they don't give you a time, because otherwise people in the project could manipulate token sale, buys and sells, and all that sort of stuff around it. So I think once it's agreed, it may be like a 48-hour window and it will suddenly just happen. So it's not something that is completely within our control, but hopefully people can understand why that is the case. So we're still working on the KuCoin listing. It's honestly, I don't honestly think it'll probably be it won't be in the next couple of weeks. It's looking at hopefully towards the end of the month, if not early July. So keep your fingers crossed on that one, because that will be massive news for the project when that happens.
Just going back to the NFT marketplace, Simon and I did have another review earlier of the structure of the site and everything else. Like I said, there is just a little bit of stuff to do around it, not a great deal. It's more the design side. So hopefully we'll have a good update on that towards the end of this week, which will be good. And obviously with Simon working on KuCoin as well, so we've just got to wait and see now on the timings of that.
And the other thing we're doing is planning the trips to the US. So we've got, I know it's a long way away, but we've already been invited to Cryptomania in Houston again in November. And as people know, the token got an enormous boost when we went to that event last year. Hopefully we'll do exactly the same again, probably a lot more, because they're hoping to have over 1,000 people in the audience this time, which that might make Mr. Young's Twitch come on a bit, stood on the stage. Yeah, mate, the sweaty palms will come out again, Mr. Price. But 1,000+ audience, that would be great to stand in front of. And we've built a really good following within Tradenology and Cryptomania, and we should. Well, they're also planning a London event as well. So, touch wood, we should be involved in that. I'd be surprised if we weren't. You're looking at going to...
On the other one, it's in about 5 weeks' time. The team, we are going to try and take a final decision this week, if possible, if not early next week, on the attendance at that show. But it's looking, I would say, 95% likely and we will have a presence there from the UK as well. So there's a lot to sort out in terms of flights and hotels and getting the stand ready. But that'll be really exciting for Joke, the Metal Landlords, and some other things there. We will let everybody know on that, but we are working behind the scenes hard on getting that organised. And there will be more to come as we go through the year as well. So that'll be really cool. That'll be a really big boost for the whole project.
And that's what we're lacking at the moment. You know, we've never gone for, like a pump and dump. You know what? We've never gone and shielded the project. That's what I mean. We've never gone and just tried to attract people that, you know, think that we're going to moonshot, right? We've never done that. We've always tried to run this as a legitimate project and business. Even today, Andy and I were talking to a guy who's got, I'm not going to name him, but he's got 8 series on Amazon Prime of comedy, and we're negotiating with his lawyers the terms within the contract, which is getting complicated, let's say. Yeah. I think the words, well, I have negotiated some enormous legal agreements in the past, and I don't want it to turn into more than 10 pages, let alone some of the ones that I've done which have been over 100 pages before and cost tens of thousands of dollars. There's no need for that. We are obviously still in pre-revenue stage, and the revenue taking part of the project will only come once the dev is done by Future Tech. That's taking time. They are working on it. It's not their number one priority because obviously the growth of their community is what they're pushing the most. I know that they're going to build that into a game that's probably going to attract millions of people next year. And if you look at some of the drops that they're doing now and the way the apartments and penthouses and storefronts and everything is developing in the Infiniverse, getting the monetization part, i.e. taking fiat for token and enabling projects like us to convert that. So not converting it into Joke token, but converting it into, for example, BUSD, USDT, or another token. Now that'll need to be cross-chain as well, because there's going to be projects within the Infiniverse that are going to want to take, for example, ETH. We are built on Binance Smart Chain as a project, and we would probably take BUSD, USDT, but we don't want to obviously charge Joke token for people to attend our events, because that would mean if we were to then have to pay a comedian, we have to sell the Joke token to then cash it in for a stable coin, for example. And what we're finding, obviously, most of these people that we're talking to, including the guy that we were talking to today, are not crypto savvy. So they are going to want fiat. You know, they're not going to accept, we'll send you X number of BUSD, because they won't have a clue what to do with it or what it's worth. And, you know, the people on this call, we all know what DeFi and crypto and the future of Web3 is. But a lot of these people that we're talking to, they're having a hell of a job getting their head around, you know, they know probably what Bitcoin is, but then if you start talking about the other networks like Binance Smart Chain, you're just talking gobbledygook to them. So they want to hear dollar numbers, and, you know, we were talking production costs for comedians, costs for lawyers, unfortunately. Andy knows I hate paying lawyers. It's, you know, I've been to court on several really big trials that have gone against me, some for me, some where you think you've got a absolutely rock solid case, and you end up getting a 50-50, but there's only one person that makes any money out of that, and that's the lawyers. You know, most of this sort of stuff, the paper that it's written, it's not worth the paper it's written on, because it's luck of the draw sometimes, or nuances within a contract, that things that people had never even thought of. And we were talking to the guy today about, well, what happens when we make this content and someone, for example, like Disney or Amazon comes along and wants to buy it? What's the number that sits on the top of that means that we actually step back and sell it as a project? Now, you can't work all that sort of stuff out in advance. You can try, but when in the real world, things happen, you can't account for all of those. So try and write that legal agreement. So we were trying to settle on a pre-revenue handshake agreement with these guys. It's going to have to go through the lawyers. They're going to add in a few key clauses, because one of the things that we're learning, and we did say to him, this is a bit of a test case, because we've taken on Dom Jolly, some of the other projects that have come on board, and they're all bringing different agreements to the table, and they all want different things, but we really do need to have some sort of templated standard agreement that we go to all of these projects with and put it in front of them and say, look, this is what it is. So we're working hard behind the scenes. I've been talking to the Edinburgh Fringe. If any of you know the Fringe, it's probably, I don't know whether it is the biggest comedy festival in the world. I should probably actually know that. It's one of the biggest.
One of the biggest, yeah. I think there's one bigger in the States.
Yeah, so the Edinburgh Fringe has, I think, just under 1,000 shows in it over a period of 3 weeks. But we're hopefully going to get a press pass to attend, which will mean we'll be able to go to a lot of those events. Obviously, they're all comedy and art. Talk to a lot of people, bring a lot of that content into the project, and hopefully sign up a ton of venues and a ton of comedians within that 2 or 3 week period. So might be a really interesting time for us in August, while we've then gone through some of these events in the States, got a lot more interest in the project, brought a lot more people into the project through things like Listing with KuCoin, and then moving to the stage where we're just bringing so many more comedians and performers into the space that that's when we should be able to really, really skyrocket. Plus, we'll have more land. I know 3K's listening. There's been a load more work done on the Altspace Club this week. I haven't jumped into it just yet, but I've had the dev mention to me that they've put in the microphone, updated the screens. There is a bar in there now, so you can go and have some drinks. So we need to actually organise an Altspace meetup, and maybe that's one of the things we put into the competition idea for next week. But for those of you, I know there's a few people that have just jumped on. We are asking the community to enter their ideas for a competition. We want to give away some more apartments and penthouses next week. We're not sure exactly what that competition should be, so we're asking for your ideas. So there is a tweet that I've just pinned. It will stay on the top of the Twitter feed for a week, probably till the 10th. I think I've said I'm going to close it, so another 4 days. Please put your ideas for a competition in there. Every idea that you submit as a comment on there will be an entry this week, and every retweet will be an entry this week as well. And we're going to give away an apartment code to the idea that we end up running with next week. So please get involved. Andy, anything else you want to add for today?
No. All the Dom Jolly stuff can be announced tomorrow, because we've just had approval from in the US at the moment on a mini tour thing promoting something. So that's all going to get released tomorrow. So Jacob, I'll be in touch over that. We can speak tomorrow morning. No, I think just to reiterate, the amount of work it takes to get comedians on board and comedy groups is massive, because they all come with a different set of things, as Simon said, and no two sets of them are the same. So everything is almost bespoke at the moment. So it is taking an extraordinarily long time to get things going, but it's worth it, because we are getting people on. I know the Gotham proposal's gone off to our contact for him to pass that on to line up a meeting there as well, which is really good. But yeah, I think that's time, and I think that's all good.
Yeah, I've emailed Billy Somers. It's Andy and I end up communicating through the AMAs half the time what's going on. I've emailed Billy Somers' agent again today, so hopefully we'll get a meeting with them this week again. That's like the third or fourth meeting with those guys, but he's got some incredible contacts. I've seen Salty Dave has posted in the AMA live chat an idea for a competition. Looks like a good idea. If you could just please comment it onto the tweet as a comment, because one, it helps us with the engagement with that tweet and it gets it to go further. And obviously we've seen that, you know, that's starting to get loads of traction on Twitter. So for those of you that don't have a Twitter account, please do go and create one, because an incredible amount of token/NFT conversation goes on Twitter. But it's really good if people can get involved with our social, because it's going to spread the word. And we've had some people from the Bored Ape Yacht Club contact us a couple of weeks ago now, and that conversation's been taken forward. Andy, I posted on, I got into their Discord this morning, and I've put a ticket in with them to hopefully raise a collab with a project like that. So it'd be great if we can get something going with them, because what we do want to do, any other projects that people know that are decent projects, and this idea has come out of the collaboration we originally did with Afrostar. So Afrostar as a project, okay project, they haven't really set the world on fire. If I'm honest, they haven't delivered on a lot of their promises, and that's my main issue with a lot of these projects that are out there. But what it did point out to us was, if we can collaborate with other projects, there aren't any projects out there really that are going to say no to a collaboration over a comedy event. So we can take their community to one of our clubs, run a collaboration. Both projects benefit, because we benefit from running the event and getting the exposure within their group, and their group benefit because it creates a community event where, you know, they can get together, talk, and have something to talk about. Because a lot of these projects that are out there, they are really struggling for news and engagement within their projects, and that was proven. We basically took over the Afrostar project for a week nearly, to the point where I think the leaders of the project got pretty pissed off with me that, you know, well, literally the only thing that was getting talked about in the Afrostar project was the Snooki's comedy event with Afrostar and Joke in the Infiniverse. And we did gain a lot of traction out of that. So if you're listening to this and you know any other projects that you're following that are decent projects, because we don't want to end up promoting shit, but if you know any decent projects, put them my way, send me a DM or put it in the suggestions channel. Let me know and we will approach them and we'll set up collaborations. Like Andy, we should be going back to the Goats and getting another collaboration on with them, because we were going to set up a comedy event for them. But I know the comedy festival that we're planning on running alongside the Edinburgh Fringe in August, a lot of that can be driven by collaborations with other communities. So we're looking to you guys within our community to point out the projects that you think are good, and we will take the conversation forward. Maybe you're a member of some of those communities already. Like we need to go back to Martian Arts Club, you know, and talk to them. And they've got an amazing community. So it is the future of crypto, and it is what Web3 is all about, to get these collaborations going. So we need to help. We need help from the community. We need help from you if you're listening, to please suggest other projects that you think are good for us to get involved with. I am trying to get a conversation going with Everdome, and I know I talk a lot about Everdome, and they've got their land sale going on at the moment. I've taken part in the land sale. I've not managed to secure any land yet because the land is selling for a really high price, but I think it's a genuinely good project. But when I can't get in touch with them because I've tried communicating through their website, their contact us form doesn't work, which isn't great. I've then gone onto their Twitter and sent a message into their support. I've not had a reply, and I've also tried them on Discord. So it worries me, frankly, that a project like that isn't responding. I know they're busy at the moment with their land sale, and it's probably all they're concentrating on. But wouldn't they like to have a comedy club within Everdome? I'm sure they would if they could get. If we get that conversation, we will absolutely facilitate, build a club, bring people to it. And it's all these lands that want the content. That's at the end of the day, that's why San Shepherd loves our project, because we're providing content, and we're nearly always on the, what's on in the Infiniverse, because we've got events running all the time. And for those of you that are available tomorrow, Andy and I are running a crypto discussion within the clubs. If you get a chance to attend, we will put a live stream up for it as well. It's going to talk around investment strategy, the things that you should be thinking about. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Joke Project a lot and our experience within that, the whole market, what's going on in the global economy is one of the biggest concerns that people have got at the moment. And when that bull run comes, who knows? It could be 2 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 years, it could be more. Who knows what's going to happen? Crypto Hits has put Everdome's token is not doing well during the land sale. Not a good sign to me. Well, yeah, the Everdome token, I think it's about 2 cents at the moment. They are making people buy the token to buy the land, but most of the people that are buying the land are not committing massive amounts to the sale. Yes, there's a lot of land for sale, but this sale's going on for the next 8 weeks. And if I was sat with Rob Grinn, who runs the project, and I know he's a billionaire, probably knows a lot more about crypto than I do, or I would hope he does, I would have said to him, you need to sell all of this land in in one sale over a week, rather than stretch it out over 8 weeks, because who knows where the market will be in 2 weeks, let alone 8. And
8 weeks is time for people to stay focused and interested though as well.
Well, what they're doing is they're raising the floor price on the land every week, so they release a new batch of land each week. Now, I bid on a piece of land today. So, yeah, I'd like to own a piece of land in Everdome, but I don't want to overpay for it. The lowest floor price at the moment is 30,000 Everdome tokens, which is $600 as it stands. It's all right them increasing the floor price every week, but if the price of the token goes down each week, then you're not really achieving that. And at 8 weeks out, either somebody owns a big old chunk of that land, and I was looking at some of the wallets that are staked in Everdome, and there are some serious amounts of Everdome staked. Those people aren't pulling their Dome token out and using it to buy land. They're leaving it staked because a lot of them are locked in. But we'll see where that goes. It'll be an interesting watch, and it's always an interesting watch to see what happens with these land sales. It's like Illuvium. Illuvium's sale is on at the moment as well, and that some of their land is selling for ridiculous amounts. But frankly, it beggars belief that people are still buying massive chunks of these projects at ridiculous prices in a downturn market. Anyway, we'll get into that when we start talking about the Meta Landlords and the way that project is going to be positioned and what we're going to do different to a lot of people. So, the whole market's got to change, and my opinion is it moves to the projects that are genuinely doxed, have a proper business case. This is what's going through the ringer at the moment. Not to talk about too much what we're talking about tomorrow night, but the entirety of the crypto/DeFi space is going through a wash at the moment and getting rid of a lot of the shit. And yes, a lot of people are getting washed out because a lot of people came in for the moonshot, treated it like complete, like a gamble, which still probably 90% of people in DeFi are doing, and not looking at solid projects. And even some of the solid projects are suffering at the moment. Look at ETH, and the way, well, that's, the price on that's not particularly great at the moment, but maybe it's an opportunity. I even think it might fall a bit further. Depends what happens with the global economy, the war, inflation, oil prices, all sorts of things are getting factored into it at the moment. But anyway, if you've got a chance to come and listen to Andy and I tomorrow, we're going to talk some crypto, hopefully have a laugh, and we'll try and get a few people involved on our Discord as well.
People are coming along. I expect a few jokes to be told as well, so come along with your favourite joke. We need to have a laugh.
How's it going, y'all?
I'm going to do.
Hey, Antoine.
How you doing?
Yeah, you good, man?
Yeah, I'm good. No, I DM'd you, but I've been pretty busy, so just talk to me.
Oh dear. Yeah,
How you doing? How you doing, Andy? How y'all doing?
He's talking to you, Andy. Andy's gone on. Hey,
I must have lost it. Yeah, good. Fun.
You've just been up for a tom tit, haven't you?
Hello? I should be seeing you them clips, so he's getting them together. So.
Okay, cool, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers, man. Thank you for that.
I just want to speak to y'all, man. I'm so glad about the project, and I hope that, everybody's excited about it. So.
Yeah, we've had the Queen's Jubilee, Antoine, so it's been a quiet few days.
Yeah, crypto's is in a downslide right now, but our season's coming pretty soon.
As while we're here, right? So we want everybody to get involved, and if you're sat there and you've got a question, please put your hand up because we'll put you on stage, and you can either ask by putting your hand up, or if you've got a question, just type it into the AMA live chat, which is above where you've clicked to get into the AMA session. There's a AMA live chat stream just above that. So if you want to just get in there, if you want to ask a question, please do. We are going to. I have been accused by Mr. Price of repeating myself too much during the AMAs. It's typically done, Andrew, because some people do join late, and
Yes, yeah. I know.
But we want to genuinely try and keep the length of these down a little bit because I can go on for over an hour sometimes. So, hey, Crypto, you all right?
Yeah, I just taking this a moment for to let people know, in case they're not watching the Night Swap exchange. The Night token is taking a bit of a dip, so if you're looking to pair up your LP with the Night and Joke token, there's a bit of a buy-in opportunity on the Night token.
Yeah, that's very true at the moment. There's been a lot of action on that over the weekend, and Guard itself has taken a bit of a hit because I think there's been, there's obviously people can sell whenever they choose. There's a bit more than a rumour that Guard itself and the Night exchange, it might be Night, it might be Guard, I don't know. Maybe Crypto Hits can come back on the stage and enlighten us a little bit more, because I know he's nearer to the project than I am. He gets more, he's got more time to spend on that project because I'm more busy running this one. But I know that they are looking at KuCoin. That's right, isn't it?
Correct. And the only thing I know about is the Guard token is looking. I think that's in the final stages on that.
Oh, so it is Guard itself that's looking at get listed on KuCoin.
If they're looking at the Night token, it hasn't been said, so I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. No, because I was speaking to them about in general, and I know they were talking about KuCoin, and it is part of the process that they are very close to the top people at KuCoin, And Nick won't mind me saying that, you know, when I want advice at that level, it is him I go to, and I know they're working very closely with KuCoin to get their project listed on there. It's an interesting time for them as well, because they are sweeping up some other projects into Night. I can't say what or hint to what, because I have no information that's rock solid, so it would only be complete rumour or hearsay. But they're doing a lot behind the scenes to move lots more people into that universe, which will be great for us as a project, because the more people that come in and see the farming opportunities on NightSwap, the more people come in and buy Joke, the more people will farm Joke, and the more people will then support the project for all of us going forwards, because we need to really push now to get tens of thousands of holders of the Joke token. You've got to remember, we're only at like 1,500 holders, and once we start getting to the point of tens of thousands, that's when we can really push the accelerator button and get, you know, up to a cent, 10 cents. You know, I think it's a medium term target. I was talking to people over the weekend, where do you expect it to go? And look, genuinely, we should be aiming at a cent at least. But it is going to be a hard slog, but we are good to be a genuine project. That's the difference, and that's where I want people to realise that we are a real business. We're already delivering in the metaverse. We have a footprint there. We are talking to a lot of people, serious people. I can't bring them all forward at once, and I can't, you know, that has to all come in at the same, has to come in at a structured rate, right? That's the best way to put it. But it's the connections like Nick that give us the access to things like KuCoin, because they probably wouldn't consider a project like us normally. And if you look at the projects that go on there, a lot of those trade at sort of $5-10 million a day, right? We're trading at thousands of dollars a day, not even tens of thousands of dollars a day. So to get that conversation going over an exchange offering with them and then a listing, it does get the juices going, and it gets us to the next level of tens, hundreds of thousands of holders, which is, you know, that's what really takes this thing forward. And I know, and I know it's not as quick as people would like, but you know, Andy and I were talking about the sort of things that we need to talk to people about, and it is patience. And a lot of projects are getting damaged because people are impatient. There's a whole thing in the whole market at the moment that a lot of people are impatient. You know, everybody's like, when bull run, when's it going to happen? When that trigger gets pulled, and it'll be obvious, you know, when Bitcoin really does start to pump, and everything else then follows, that's when there's a chance for everybody to really make some good money over the next 6 months. If even then, if that's when it starts, I don't know. It might be tomorrow for all we know. But there's going to be some big levers getting pulled. I would suggest strongly you pay attention to what's going on the Guard project, on the NightSwap exchange. Am I fair, Crypto Hits? I don't know whether I'm allowed to say anything about. Well, it's been on their Twitter who they've just partnered up with, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. But I also have a very good analogy for people to keep in mind as we're going through this turbulence. Think of crypto in general as a roller coaster ride. If you believe that the roller coaster is stable and isn't going to fall apart around you, then just enjoy the ups and downs as they go, because that's part of the ride. And it only hurts when you get off at the wrong spot.
Brilliant.
Yeah, very true. And it has been shown in, I think, nearly every other market that the people that invested and forgot about their investment and disappeared out of a project and came back a long time later, rather than the people that tried to day trade projects, and assets, always won. The ones that were in it a long term were the ones that always won, I think.
Only if it was a good crypto project would that be viable.
Well, true. But the other thing is, there's a lot of people sat there saying, what if? And it's the what if that kills people, because, if you look at, for example, Guard, let's take Guard as an example. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, Guard was at $18 and it's now at 2 point something. Now, everybody, me included, I'm sat here going, well, what if I'd sold at $18? I'd be far better off now. Yes, I would. But I believe in that project long term, and I'm just sat leaving it. Like Crypto Hit says, yes, I'm at the bottom of the dip on the roller coaster at the moment, but who cares when you know where the destination is? And that's what we're trying to say about Joke, is there's lots coming. Yes, we may be in a bit of a dip at the moment, or is it a good buying opportunity? That's the other thing that people will say. But I think the start of this conversation was, it is an opportunity now, with Joke being low, with Knight being low, and with BNB being reasonably stable, as it seems to be at the moment, a good opportunity to create some more LP and get into the farm.
Another thing that would be good, OG, is when we talk about a price being at 1 cent, what does it take for the project to get there? And if you believe the vision of that path, then why would anybody be worried about where the project is today? You don't check the price of your house every day if you're going to sell it in 20 years. So, if you've got, we've got all these opportunities coming out on the project over the next 6 months. Well, then really your timeline's in 6 months. So the only thing you'd look at is, well, do I have some money I can, what they call DCA, dollar cost average in. So every time you get like a paycheck, you buy a little bit, or every day you buy X amount of the token, and that way over a period of time you're averaged in on your portfolio entry. But if you're looking at 6 months' time, and you believe the information that Simon and Andy are talking about with, the comedians that are coming on board, the evolution of the metas, all these opportunities that are going to be present. And look, to be honest, when I joined the Joke community, the metaverse wasn't even part of the conversation. So we don't know what may come out tomorrow. So that so they're always looking for a new opportunity to better the project. So knowing the mindset of the people that are running it, that should give you whether or not the roller coaster is stable for you. And then everything else, if people are selling off, people do what they do. But for me, it's a buy opportunity as I go, because when it gets to look at the price of it now, and when it gets to a cent, that's a huge that's a huge improvement on your return. And when it gets to a penny or close to a penny, people are going to take those profits, and that's what you're in it for. But as long as you do it responsibly, you don't tank, you sell off $100 million in one shot, and then, everyone thinks it's a rug pull. But as long as you conduct yourself professionally, responsibly, doing things, engaging the Twitters, going on to CoinGecko and CMC and whatever, and voting every day, doing your little part to help your investment mature, that's the key.
Yeah, getting involved and being part of the project, part of the community. The best analogy I've got is, most people know that I lost hundreds of Bitcoin, and I had them when they were under 5 cents. It's easy for me to sit here and go, oh yeah, but that'd be worth X number of millions now, or hundreds of millions, whatever it is. But you can't tell me that had I had that at the time, probably 6 months later, I probably would have sold them, and I might have cashed them in for couple of $1,000. So, and thought I'd done very well at the time, but sat back and now I would be even more gutted if I'd actually sold them back in the day. You know, look at the famous guy who bought the 2 pizzas for 11,000 Bitcoin. You know, what would that be worth now? Hopefully he enjoyed his slice. But yeah, it's very good to hear from an investor's perspective, crypto, you know, what you've experienced. And I know you and I have experienced some massive ups and downs on other projects. It's going to be a journey. It's going to be an adventure. We got loads of great stuff coming. And look, just stick along for the ride. We're on that coaster right now. Before we go, anyone else got a question or anything they need to talk to us about? Because otherwise I'm going to close this one down. Please put your hand up. I'm just going to check the AMA live chat one more time. Yeah, there's nothing else in there. And I can't see any other hands. So other than that, I will wish you a good evening. It's nearly 6 p.m. in the UK, so I don't know where else you guys are, but have a good day, and we will talk to you on Thursday. Speak to you soon.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.